Some trends can be timeless, and some just need to go. Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in this video, we are talking about some trends that I'm done with, I'm over, I'm sick of seeing, and we're finished with, and I'm exposing on this channel because that's what I do. We have got a number of things to get through, so let's get into the video. Now, the first trend that I am done with and I am tired of is new. New everything, new everywhere, new. I'm a little bit tired of everything new. And I'm talking about this in a lot of different ways. New houses and new furniture and new places and new spaces. I love vintage and I love character. And I think when you do everything brand new, you lose a lot of that. And not everybody wants to handle vintage and reupholstery and all of that. So maybe you opt for brand new upholstery pieces like sofas and chairs, but then a vintage table. That creates a lot of character. But I also see this with homes and people tearing down vintage homes to build these big new modern things. Hey, maybe we leave the vintage homes to the people that appreciate them and build the new homes in a new area where we don't have to tear down cool houses. A lot of that is just driven by social media and trends, and it leads into this vicious cycle of like having to replace everything all of the time and keeping up with everybody because new is new, and sometimes that's great. But does everything have to be brand new? Maybe it can be new to you. That's always something fun. I also am seeing so much stuff and content and things everywhere about this is new, get this from here, it just launched, this came out, and it leads to this kind of cycle of consumerism that we really don't have to be involved in. I like building character in a space by bringing in vintage, antique, or recycled pieces because that is environmental, it's sustainable, and you don't have to worry about what this company did and where they did it and all of this because it's vintage. It's been done, it was done years ago, and now you have an amazing piece. I love mixing vintage and new together to create an interesting space. While we're on the topic of new, the next trend that I see all of the time that I'm just over with is repeating what we're seeing, and some people may say copycatting, but it happens all of the time, and I feel like I see it everywhere, all over the place, and I don't even feel like it's just in design or social media. I feel like it's every restaurant I go to looks the same, and every house in a neighborhood looks the same. Individuality is what is in, it's what's cool, it's what will always be timeless for you in your home. Right now, we're living in a time when anything goes as far as design is concerned. And I love that because you can embrace the personality you have and the things you love no matter what they're in or what somebody has to say about it. As long as it's gorgeous, I'm gonna love it. I think representing who you specifically are is so much more valuable than just having a space that looks like it's out of a magazine and copying what you saw in a magazine or on social media, because it's all about you and the character you have in your home, what that space says about you, because it's your home. If you just take what someone else has, you're living in their house now, and that's just not it, that's not the vibe. Get inspired, take inspiration from what you see, what you like, and what you don't like, and then work it into your space in a unique and creative and interesting way. I think one of the trends that I am most tired of seeing, and we can definitely move on from, and we can elevate, is that kind of designer logo inspired situation. I don't even know what exactly to call it because it just doesn't make sense to me. Having a French fashion house's logo in your home doesn't make it feel or look luxurious or expensive. It makes it feel like you're trying to emulate that. Don't get me wrong, I love a good Hermes throw blanket, but maybe you leave it to the throw blanket and you just incorporate beautiful fabrics and luxurious accessories to emulate whatever style it is you are after. Maybe you are that person that you've been to Paris and you love it and you love the style and French fashion companies, and I love that for you. Let's look at some French styles, be inspired by architecture or iconic styles from the past. Maybe instead of having a picture of the Eiffel Tower, you have a beautiful French Empire style chest of drawers. That's always really beautiful. Or maybe you have a caned back gilt chair that will emulate that feminine style you might be after. that's going to be more luxurious and a little bit more personal to who you are versus just having some generic art print that is kind of like, look at these coffee table books that I have and this and that and the other thing. We can definitely elevate your space and make it personal to you without diving into the kind of like tacky consumerism lifestyle. I think that is a great way to make a space look luxurious, make it more timeless, make it more elegant, and not have it be so much of like, oh, well, this is what I'm into and this is the one thing that's important to me and I love, so I'm gonna have it plastered everywhere in my house. If that's you, love it for you, and that's great. I'm a luxury lover and I love beautiful things. But luxury whispers, it doesn't have to scream or be in your face, and having that in your house does not look luxurious. It doesn't look expensive. It looks like you're maybe just trying a little bit too hard. While we are on the topic of luxury and real design that fits you and your lifestyle, your aesthetic, be sure you take a moment and hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell notification to get notified every time I upload, because that is exactly what we do here on this channel. We elevate, we upgrade, we improve, and we are beautifying the world. Join us. The next trend that I feel like we can maybe leave in the past, we've moved on from, because we're gonna dive into it, and it is the furry pillows. I am not a fan of the furry pillows for a number of reasons. One is that you really can't relax and enjoy a fur type of situation because it tends to be way too hot. Like when you're in the Arctic tundra, maybe that works for you and it keeps you warm. But in my home, the temperature is regulated, and having a furry pillow is just gonna make me hot. It's gonna make me sweat. It feels a little bit sticky. It's not the vibe. And those types of materials really can't be washed or cleaned thoroughly. So it's giving a little bit of like a type of a situation. And also they get dusty. I just am not here for that. I think it's nice to add an interesting texture to a space, and I feel like that's what this does. However, there is a maintenance issue with it for me. There are some kind of cozy options you can use that will emulate this idea of plush, cozy, fluffy pillows without just opting for like a plastic faux fur, because you really can't wash and dry that. It shrinks, it gets damaged in the wash. It's not really sustainable. It's not a great material to have as a useful item. I would rather see you go for a little bit more of an affordable pillow cover and maybe upgrade the insert in that pillow so that it's plush and comfortable and soft, but you actually get a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of the ability to clean some throw pillows, because maybe you don't know, but you should be definitely cleaning those throw pillows if you're laying on them, if your head is resting on them, if you're touching them. It's a maintenance issue. I'm not here for the furry type of pillow. I think it was kind of popular with the glam style, and I feel like we've moved on from that just a little bit. There's some really amazing patterns and fabrics out there that you could opt for. Have a custom pillow made. Love that for you, love it for me, love it for everybody, because it's definitely elevated and upgraded and not a trend. The next interior design trend that I just feel like we can leave in the past is the gray floor. And you all know, we've talked about this all of the time. Gray is just not a great option for a wood-like product, mostly because it's not a natural color for that product. It stands out for maybe not the right reason. And if you are a gray lover, love that for you. Being in interior design, I love every color, and gray definitely has its time and its place. I just think a gray floor is a big commitment, because maybe your style will change, or maybe you'll just get a little bit tired of a gray floor, and that's a very expensive change to make. It's not like painting a room. Maybe painting is not the cheapest or the easiest thing to do, but it's a lot cheaper and a lot easier than changing out a floor. So really think about what you are bringing into your space. If you like the gray situation, if you like a gray everything, love that for you. If you are a gray lover and you're like, Garrett, I love the gray floor and I have to have it, what I would recommend for you is to take a paint sample, take a fabric swatch with you to the flooring store, and compare them to different tones of wood. One of them will inherently have a gray base to it that, being near more gray, will draw out and will give you that look. But if you get tired of that and you say, Garrett, you know what, gray is not for me anymore, we're moving on from that, we want white, we want tan, we want beige, we want purple, I don't know, Changing the wall color, the color of the furnishings and accessories will then bring out the warmer tones in that wood, giving you more versatility. You want something that has a taupey base to it versus something that is a cool toned gray, because that's not a natural tone for wood. There will be plenty of you that say, but Garrett, cedar shingles go gray. Well, yeah, they're on the side of a house. They're not on the floors, okay? Don't try me with it. I already see you in the comments. I validate you and you are right, but is that something you want on your floor? For me, it says you're gonna get splinters and it's gonna be hard to clean, not something we definitely want in our house, because no. The next trend that I have a love-hate relationship with and I feel like we can partially leave in the past are those painted arches. You know what I'm talking about, like when people are like, oh, I wanna add an architectural feature, so they paint an arch. I'm not so mad at some of them, like you could paint an arch to divide a large wall, or maybe you hang a mirror and you put a cabinet within the painted arch. That's fun. And it kind of emulates that look of a recess in the wall or an alcove. Great, love it, that's fun. We're usually seeing this in like a terracotta type of color. Great. What I'm not here for is people that paint door frames and they like paint a big arch over the door frame to make it look like it's an arched doorway, but you can see the trim, you can see the door, like no, it's not giving anything that we need, it's giving us confusion. Because you can see that there is a door there. It's like clearly still there, it's a door, I can see the trim, I can see all of it, and you painted it a different color, so now you've accented the fact that it is there, which is, I don't understand that fully, but we'll set that aside. The next thing I don't understand about it is we're typically, when we see this, they're raising the height of the door, like visually making it look taller than all of the other doors in the space. So then it stands out even more. I feel like there's a better way to bring an accent into the space to make something pop and be original and unique than just painting an arch over an existing door. I feel like you can paint your trim an interesting color, or maybe paint the trim white and do a fun wall color. That's always really interesting and unique. Maybe even paint the trim on the door white and then still paint the arch behind it. That's something different and cool we haven't seen. What a lot of people don't realize is when you paint everything one color, like all of your baseboard, wall, trim, crown molding, it makes the details in that stand out even more. So it makes them more obvious. And I just feel like if you're trying to hide something, you don't paint it in a way that makes it more obvious. You know what I mean? The next trend that I'm feeling like we can leave in the past is the basket light. Now, a lot of you love basket lights, and I love them too. I think there's a time and a place for them. But we definitely jumped on it really hard, and everyone was like, we're changing the light out for this, we're changing it for a basket light, for this, for that, for the other thing. And it's like, if the space does not require the texture, the richness of the basket pendant, do we need it? I don't feel like we do. I feel like sometimes we try and layer more, do something new and new and new and something interesting and different. But there's a difference between unique and different. You all know that person that's like, oh, I thought it was different. And you're like, it's different, that's for sure. That's what it feels like sometimes with the basket light. And some of these had like weird things hanging off of them. It was very interesting. I think a basket light can be cool in a space that needs that texture, that has that richness and tone, because it definitely gives that. And I love the way it throws light. I'm also just gonna say it and put it out there that a natural fiber on an electrical fixture is sounding a bit like a fire hazard to me, something worth considering and thinking about, because a lot of people DIY'd these fixtures, and if it's designed, if it's intentional that way, then yeah, okay, maybe it has that safety feature installed, but if we're just kind of rigging and tying something up together, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Probably not something I would do in my home, and it's maybe not something I would recommend either. However, what I will say about the basket pendant light is look for some that are intended or designed to be light fixtures, and consider adding multiple in a light fixture type of arrangement. I think that's always really elevated and beautiful. It can also be a great way to get a large scale fixture for not a lot of money, because a basket fixture can actually be a little bit more affordable. The next trend that I'm feeling like we can maybe leave in the past is that long, skinny fireplace. You know what I'm talking about. These were very popular with modern design and interiors, and I think for a lot of spaces, they do actually look really beautiful, and I like them. However, I think we're getting to a point where people are like, that's what's in, it's the newest, it's the greatest thing, and we have to take out the square fireplace and put in the long skinny one. And I feel like that requires a certain space to make work. One of the reasons is that the proportions of these fireplaces inherently make a space look wider than it is tall. If you are in a space that already has a slightly lower ceiling height, it's going to make the ceiling look even lower because we're now adding a very long horizontal plane to the space, versus the square fireplace has more classic proportions. You get the same height as width, meaning that it kind of balances out the space, and you can do some other things to increase the visual height of the ceiling. I like the square fireplace in a more modern home also because you can add a little bit of that classic charm. It takes the edge off of things just a little bit, especially if you are looking to add in a mantle of some sort, because the long fireplace with the mantle, there's kind of just a little bit of a disconnect there. I do, however, like a fireplace that is open. I think that's really cool when you kind of have it projecting out of the wall and it's the long fireplace, but you have a proper like built-in hearth type of situation. The long skinny fireplace I think is great in certain homes, and consider whether or not it is the right element to bring into your space when you are designing that space, because there's a lot of really modern and interesting, unique square-shaped fireplace mantles that you could add in that would get you even more of a luxury feeling in your home. Well, there you have it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And I want to know from my subscribers, what is one trend that you're ready to leave in the past? You've seen it, you're done with it, you never liked it to begin with, and everybody's still doing it. Let me know, share with me, because I want to hear from you. While you're down there, give this video a like. I also know that you know someone that they are redoing a space, they're planning, they're gonna put one of these in, and you are just like, it's not LeChic approved, honey. We gotta upgrade and elevate this. Send this video to them, because friends help friends. And I will see you in the next one.